Hello, it's Joanne here from joanneearns.com, and I'm excited that you're joining us for the Business and Babies interview series. And today, I'm very delighted we have Cathie Francis from the UK joining us, and Cathie's going to tell us about her business. I'm so glad you're here, Cathie. It's been great to connect with you. So tell us how you got started. Tell us a bit about your business and what you do, and how you got started and where you're at with it all. That would be great.
Okay, so I started off my career as a professional dancer. Mm-hmm. I then went on to have my son, my first child, and very quickly realised that working 8 shows a week, 6 days a week, didn't quite work with families and juggling babies. So I started to teach. Not something that I'd ever thought of doing. It just happened by chance. A friend offered me a job teaching with her school. And so I jumped in and did that. And then quite soon after that, I realised, actually, I'd quite like to do this myself.
Right.
I set up my own school 7.5 years ago. And then a couple of years ago, I became a registered teacher with the Royal Academy of Dance. And I kind of haven't looked back since.
Yeah. Haven't had time to look back since, probably.
No, there's not much time for reflection on that.
And that's cool. And have you got 2 kids, is that right?
So I became a mum at 25 because I inherited a 9-year-old daughter when I got with my husband. And so Holly's now 26 and she's a mum of her own now. She's got a little baby girl. Well,
so you're actually a grandma. Oh my God.
I'm actually a granny, I know.
That's crazy. You're looking great on it.
Thank you. So I have 3 children, a grandchild, but my 2 are Freddie, who's 12, and Luciana, who is 8.
Wow, cool.
Yeah. But started the business when they were really weeny.
really little. And like, if we kind of go back to that time, because I think a lot of women who might be listening to this are just in the kind of early days of starting a business and juggling it around probably a young family. How did you kind of manage that in the beginning? Were you doing it kind of nap times, or how did you figure that out?
Neither of my children were particularly great at nap times. So that was tricky, and it was more they did go to bed for at least a few hours before I needed to go to sleep, and I'd get a few things done. A lot of work was done in the evening.
That's sort of evening time.
Spend the whole day being mum and doing everything that mums do and running the household, etc., whilst kind of keeping in my head what I needed to get done by the end of the day. Just a lot of juggling. I used to go to petting farms, and soft plays a lot. And whilst the children, I try and send an email. I quite often sent emails from the toilet when there's no children around and I just got 2 minutes to myself just to quickly send an email. And I used to think, my gosh, if my clients could see me.
This is what it really looks like.
But it was a lot of that. Thankfully, I don't have to do that so much now because my children are older. So
I guess it's kind of I've got a 15-year-old and then a 3.5-year-old. So often it's like when they actually I remember my daughter when she started school, like, oh, wow, I've got all this time. I don't have to just do nap times and evenings and whatever little bits of childcare you might have. So full-time school.
That definitely helped when they started. When I started the business, my son was already at school, and I was teaching and doing admin for somebody else. So he went to nursery and things like that. But when my daughter was born, I had left the school, my friend's school, and had set up my own. So she never went to any formal nursery or anything like that until she was nearly ready to go to school. So there was a lot more juggling with that when she was little, and she's just she came to work with me because I set up a ballet class at her when she was 18 months old, so she just came to work with me.
And does she love to dance as well?
She does love to dance, yes.
That's lucky.
We didn't, my husband and I never really actively encouraged them to do it, but it's like with anything, if you do it and they see you doing it, they kind of go, well, that's kind of cool, I'll do it. So they've just fallen into it, but they found their own feet.
That's cool. Especially if they're hanging out with you while you're there kind of growing your business and everything, then it would
Yeah,
encourage.
and she literally was there from before she can even remember, and it kind of evolved around her. And the children she's friends with now are still in the classes that she did when she was, you know, a baby. So it's lovely. And she's made some really nice, you know, lifelong friends. So
Yeah, I bet that'd be lovely. Actually, I'm just thinking for other mums as well who've got little ones coming to classes, that you've got one as well. You know, just that kind of.
Oh yeah, and those mums are now friends of mine. They started off as, you know, people that came to class with their children, and we have quite often, like half termly, used to go off and have like a lunch after the ballet class. We'd all sit underneath this little tree in the park, and we get to know each other. And they're the ladies that have kind of been my superstars as far as my business is concerned, because they've gone out and just told their friends and their friends and friends, you know, and that's how I've built my business. So
yeah, that's how it grows, isn't it, with relationships like that? That's wonderful.
Absolutely, it's all about the connections.
Yeah, it really is. So, you know, one of the things that I like to kind of figure out and find out how other women do it, it's just like, how do you balance things like on a day-to-day basis, like business and life? What's a typical work day look like for you, would you say?
I don't really have a typical work day. I mean, every day is different, which is part of the reason why I love being an entrepreneur and my own business owner, because I can be the master of my own destiny. And if my child has a school play or has a doctor's appointment, I can take some time out of my day to be there and be present for those things, you know, where other people don't necessarily have that luxury, I suppose. But it starts with any day with children. Children get up, breakfast, get dressed, the chaos that ensues with trying to get them outdoor shoes on, etc., etc. I come back, usually walk the dog because I have a lovely dog, and that just gives me some time to kind of go, right, what am I doing today? I then usually have I have this thing where I do, which is called Eat the Frog, which I think lots of people have sort of have said to me that they do it too, and it's just a list of maybe 3 things I have to get done before anything else. So if I don't achieve anything else that day, those 3 things are done. So I come home and kind of, you know, bite the bullet, eat the frog, whatever you want to call it, and just and sometimes that takes me all day, sometimes I get it done. I mean, there's been occasions where I've had to get up with the children because they've been poorly, or I found myself in, you know, the early hours of the morning, and I thought, well, I'm up, I might as well get something done. And I've had all my admin and everything done by 9 a.m. and I feel very smart that day.
You're like really self-righteous all day long.
And then I kind of give myself some time off because I'm like, I would be doing it now, but I've done it, you know. And then I kind of conk at about 2 p.m. when I'm exhausted.
It's all fun and games until a 2 o'clock slump hits. Huh?
Yeah, exactly. And then there's a lot more coffee involved, and then school pick up. But
and then it's the evening kind of craziness of feeding kids and bath time and bedtime and all of that stuff too. I have kind of moved into a new sort of with my son now being at secondary school, he comes in a lot later, so I only have my daughter around, and invariably she'll go off. Now she's a little bit older, she goes off to do her homework, or we'll sit at the dining room table and I'll still be emailing and doing some work, and she'll sit with me and do it with me, and we'll kind of chat whilst we're working, like you would in an office. So it's kind of, I feel like I'm in a bit of a flux now with my sort of work balance again. So sort of a new phase. And what sort of balance do you have in your business between sort of your teaching time, and I don't know if you do like one-to-one stuff as well, or but kind of that sort of delivery type work, and then the admin and the marketing and everything else? How does that kind of look roughly for you?
So a lot of my teaching, being the nature of my business, is that I teach dance to children. I teach all the ballet. So my admin is usually the exam entries and registrations and doing all of that. I also then have a lady who does the day-to-day admin. She's only recently come on board, actually, because I was in that state where couldn't really afford to have somebody else work with me, but kind of needed it. Otherwise I was going to go completely bonkers and it would all just fall apart, and I wasn't doing it very well. So thankfully now I've stepped back, but my teaching is all after school.
Right.
And on a Saturday morning. So that in its sense, the delivery of what I do is done at very set times on set. The rest of it is kind of very open to whenever I can fit it in.
You can, yeah.
Really.
And do you do a lot of marketing as well, like social media and stuff, or?
Yeah, I'm getting better at that. I have somebody who helps me with that, in that she keeps it as a regular input. She's one of my mums, actually. She happens to be a freelance copywriter. We've had many a coffee and a chat about various things, and she just went, do you know what? Do you want me to just do it like once a day, and then anything you do is a bonus? And so that's kind of how we work it, is that she just reinforces everything that I do, and we do it in reciprocal childcare.
Oh, cool.
So what she does is that she'll have my daughter to take her to ballet or to, run her around, and then I can get work done, and then I have her daughter over. And then there's no money exchanged. We do it in reciprocal childcare, which works really well.
Oh, that's awesome. Love it.
Yeah.
That's great. And
especially when you're building,
and
you don't necessarily have that, the money and the capital to be able to go, right, I can now afford. It was just a conversation, and I just said, hey, what about this? And she was like, yep, let's do it.
Yeah. And it's quite relaxed, and it suits both of you quite.
Yeah, absolutely. So it benefits me in the fact that my daughter doesn't complain that she doesn't get play dates.
Yeah, exactly. Killing two birds with one stone
all the time, and she loves it. So yeah.
So with all this kind of the juggling, business and babies and the whole family commitments, everything else gets very hectic. How do you go about actually what do you like to do to switch off? Like, how do you take time off? Do you take time off? And if so, what do you like to do?
Well, I've always said that because I do what I love for a living, so I have had a career as a professional dancer, and now I've gone on to teach it and pass on that love for what I do. I've never really considered it to be a job. So, and I think that's the ultimate goal for everybody, is to do something you love and not need a vacation from.
Yeah, exactly.
So in a sense, I kind of, it fuels me to work and what have you. But if I do need some downtime, if it's something's been particularly stressful or it's been very busy, especially when like we put on a show, that can be chaotic. I like to just go out and walk my dog and just get into nature and the quiet and the peace of not listening to music, because I listen to music all the time because of the nature of what I do. And just trying to get my head clear.
Change.
And gardening and doing things that I don't get to do because I work in the evenings, like watching a box set on TV with my husband. Because we have topsy-turvy days. We end up having a coffee in the morning, and then we'll watch a drama that we wanted to watch the night before, but either I was working late or was too tired. So we'll watch 9 a.m. in the morning once the school run's done. That's
funny. Yeah, just like you say, just a different...
It's just a different... my friends always say to me, oh, how do you kind of function? It's all a bit higgledy-piggledy, but our life has always been a bit antisocial because of the hours that performers work in the evenings, and when people go out to the theatre, that's when I worked, in the evenings. So we're quite used to this.
No, that's cool. I love it. So kind of the entrepreneurial journey, it can be quite a roller coaster. There's lots of great ups, but there's also lots of horrible downs as well. Success can be a long time coming. How have you found it so far? What's your take on it all?
I think roller coaster is the best way to describe it, because no day has been the same, and you really do go from horrendous times of, oh my gosh, why am I doing this, like looking around for somebody else to kind of ask how to do it, or to be responsible,
what
and you
do I
realize
do now?
it's me, I'm the one that I'm answering to. I have a really good network of friends from school, from the kids' school, and I have family, and they are my support system. So, a lot of my friends have become customers, and a lot of my customers have become friends. And they just remind me once in a while, you're doing great, and keep going, and don't forget about the people who want to pull you down, because there'll always be people like that, in any life, in any business, whether you own it or not. And just trying really hard to get that balance. But as I said, I've only just kind of really had a light bulb moment and gone, yeah, looking after me makes everything else work.
Yeah. I just think it's so good for people to hear that, if you're listening to this and you're new to business, or just getting going, then it's good to just know that everyone has those ups and downs. I think often you can look on social media and think, oh, I should be successful by now, I should be overnight 6 figures a year.
There's no set rules as to when and how it will happen, or when you'll go, oh, look at me, I'm able to give up my full-time job to do my passion, my my own business. I just think it's one of those things I always say with social media, especially, is like, don't compare your behind the scenes with somebody else's highlight reel.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If you look objectively on what you put out there, and then the reality, chances are everybody else is doing the same. Because that's what it's like. And if you can find a group of people that you can kind of connect with and go, hey, you know what, I'm having a really, really rubbish time at the minute. I can't get my head around anything. I can't seem to move from this rut that I'm in. If you can find a core few people that can kind of get you out of that, or certainly just listen to you go on about it, without feeling like you're, going to be exposed for being vulnerable, then, hold on to those people. They're your key to success.
Yeah, and that's a good point, actually, because I think often as a sort of solo entrepreneur or entrepreneur, we're in our own heads a lot, aren't we? Thinking about all of those things. And even just to be able to voice it to someone, often I find, because I coach people sometimes. Yeah. And sometimes I actually don't need to do all that much, because people, once they actually get it out and they talk it through, they resolve it themselves, So I think for us as business owners, it's learning that we can do that too. And just that process of talking it all through, you're like, oh yeah, I know what I need to do now. Yeah.
And it's been really interesting.
If you're stuck in your head, you can't.
Yeah, and you spend all that time on your own. And I think as well is that because you are the owner of the business, and everybody else is kind of either on the payroll or what have you, you are kind of up there and there's nobody else. So I've found that I've connected with people who are in a similar situation, not necessarily as an entrepreneur, but I have a really good friend who's a head teacher at a school.
Right.
And she's like, yeah, I get that, because you are in charge. You're the one everyone looks to be strong and to know what to do next. And sometimes as a human being, you go, I don't know. And you need to figure it out too. Yeah, I need to figure it out too. And it's really nice to have people who are like that, who are strong and have those positions, to reach out to them and go, how do you do it? Yeah. It's really helpful, really helpful.
And I guess from the sort of the theatre industry, it is like, the front of house and back of house type thing that you mentioned before as well. That is very cool. Is there anything else? My other question was going to be, what sustains you on your journey? You mentioned those friendships. Is there anything else that you like? I don't know. Are you into meditation, affirmations, reading? Anything like that kind of helps you?
A couple of years ago I did some personal growth with a friend of mine who is also, she's now left her city job to be a health and wellness sort of advisor, and I was one of her first, she gave me a discount to do this kind of personal growth, and that's got me really into like meditation, but not necessarily sitting and just going on a dog walk and thinking through and processing things, sitting and reading and just escaping my business thoughts and, worries about the children or whatever, and just engrossing myself in a bit of escapism and getting into a really good book. I mean, I have affirmations all over my house. Hanging on little signs all over the place. And, they do help. I think sometimes people come around to my house and they're like, oh, wow, and they read them and stuff. I've got this one. This is one I have that my husband and I have in our bedroom, which is grow old with me.
That's lovely.
Yet to be. And it's just like, it kind of keeps me in the present, and you know, life's too short to worry about too much too many times, you know. And she gave me this really good piece of advice, this girl Stacey. She said, there's 3 things you need to ask yourself when you're really stressed. Is it going to last forever? Are you going to die right now? Or is anyone else going to die? Because if the answer is no, chances are it's not a particularly stressful situation. And that stayed with me. So
absolutely. And I often sort of think, will I even remember this 5 years from now? Exactly. And some of those like decisions that you stress about, like 5 years from now, am I even going to remember that? Probably not.
Yeah.
Cool. So how would you say, like, the entrepreneurial journey itself, you know, you've been in business a little while now, how would you say it's shaped you? How are you different now to when you first started?
Well, I'm not as neurotic and as het up and stressed, actually, as I was when I first started. As a parent, as a business owner, as a person, I am far more chilled and relaxed about everything, because I've just kind of realized that, you know, I'm teaching dance. I get to teach dance for a living. You know, it's such a cool job. And I say to my friends, you know, I say to some of my students, I've done adult ballet class, and I say, you know, I'm not saving lives. And they all say, well, actually, I think you might be, because they rock up to the classes sometimes and they've had a really long day and they've just got there and they're just like, I'm here. And by the end of it, we're all laughing and joking by the end.
Yeah.
You just think, maybe I am contributing more than I realise.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it definitely changed on that front. You know, don't sweat the small stuff. Keep authentic to myself, and then everything else does fall into place, you know. Totally different person, probably unrecognizable from what I was 7 odd years ago.
That's fascinating, isn't it? It's such an amazing journey.
It is.
What, if you could kind of go back and speak to yourself when you first started, what advice would you have for that girl just getting going with her dance school? What would you say to her?
I would say to her, stick to your principles. Go with your gut, because it's always right. Every time I go with my gut, I get, you know, it gets back in my face. And just don't sell your soul or your integrity to try and better your business. It doesn't work. It just doesn't. You have to, you know, people want to reduce their prices so that you can get more clients. Well, I found that actually the ones that are willing to pay what you're asking for understand that you are worth that, and they understand that you have got something that they need, and you have to stick to your mission statement. You know, if you've decided you're going to do X, Y, or Z, then do it, and don't justify it to anyone. Keep it real.
Keep it real.
Keep it real.
Keep it real. I love it. That's great advice. And Cathie, what would you say? What, you know, is there a bigger why behind what you do? Like, what really drives you? Obviously, you've got huge passion for dance. Just anyway, is there anything else, like a deeper kind of why or mission to your business that really drives you?
I think the main why is because I did it. I walked the walk. I've talked the talk, and now I'm passing it on to other people. And there is nothing more satisfying. I mean, you'll know this as being a coach as well. There's nothing more satisfying than having somebody come to you missing something and then leaving your class or your session having realized it for themselves or achieved it, like a child being able to skip at the end of a class. Gives me so much joy, because I just think I've helped that happen. You know, they've done it themselves, but I've given them the skills to maybe, you know, execute it and actually carry it out. And I don't know, I think this is your one and only life, and you've got to live the best life. And I like to help other people try and do that too. Through dance, interpretive dance.
Wonderful. I love it. And kind of, I suppose, flowing on from that, one of my favourite quotes is a Gandhi quote of, be the change that you would love to see in the world. What's the change that you would love to see in the world?
I'd love to see more kindness, compassion, and understanding of other people, just on a general basis, because I think certainly for me, I was very, very critical of myself, and I spoke to myself in a really, well, just horrible way that I would never in a million years say to anybody out loud. Wouldn't say to my worst enemy some of the things I say to myself or said to myself. I mean, I still have my moments, but I think that would just improve everything, because everyone would just give everybody a little bit more understanding. And if somebody cuts you up in a traffic jam or whatever, and you just kind of feel like you can just let them, they've obviously got something going on.
Maybe they're rushing to the hospital to see a sick child. Who knows? Exactly.
Everybody's got their own struggles, and everybody's struggles are relative to their life. And so I think just trying to emanate that and trying to make everybody else kind of realize, hey, we're just,
everyone's doing the best they can with.
Everyone's doing. Nobody. I don't think anyone defaults to angry, confused, and stressed. I think everyone defaults like children. They default to happy.
Yeah.
So if somebody's not there, why aren't they? And that's my thing.
Yeah.
That's my why, I guess. Again, it's just, why is somebody like that? What can we do to change it? So
yeah, and I guess dance is part of that, actually, isn't it? I can just see that. It's like you say, someone coming in a hard day at the office or whatever, and then being able to transform that, actually, that energy back into happy and fun and. Yeah.
And and what I do is something that people do naturally. You put on music and a baby will move to the music. They just move their bodies. So I'm just doing a slightly more sort of, refined version of that, teaching them how to dance in an official capacity. But today I taught my Silver Swans, who are my over 55 ballet dancers.
Oh,
and
fantastic.
I mean, some of them have literally said to me, on the verge of tears, you've given me my life back. I can balance. I can walk without pain. I can do, and I'm just like, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Oh,
so
that must feel so good. Yeah,
it does. But I kind of take it on board, but it still blows my mind a little bit that that's even something that I've managed to happen.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah,
it is crazy.
So what's next for you in terms of business growth? I know you're kind of at a new phase with the kids in school and things like that. What's that opening up for you? What's coming next?
Well, the school's still not really at its full capacity. So we started 7.5 years ago, and there's like a great big number of children between the ages of 11 and 7, which we have a huge intake, because that's when we started and when they were tinies. Yeah. And we've got a few, and our eldest is 15. So we haven't got a full quota of students yet. So I'm just going to keep building the school and improving it and tweaking, and we've got some great new staff members coming on board to teach different things. We haven't ventured into the competitive side of dance yet. We've very much just kept it in-house, and we just give them performance opportunities.
Right, lovely.
At school fetes, we go into care homes and residential homes, and we perform for the residents there. But the competitive side of things is something that we were going to branch into. So who knows? Just going to kind of keep going with what we're doing and make it the best it can be, really.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And where can people find you online? Where's the best place to find you online, Cathie?
So we're BKD Performers, and BKD stands for Believe in Yourself, Know Your Strengths, and Discover Your Potential. Cool. So believe, know, discover, BKD Performers. And we're online at bkdperformers.co.uk, and we're on Instagram at BKD is it an underscore performers. And we're on Facebook as well. We have a page. but yeah, that's where you can find us.
And you're based in, did you say you're based in Surrey? Is that right? Woking?
Yeah, in Woking, Surrey. Yeah. So
I have to look you up next time I come back to the UK.
Yeah, absolutely. Pop in.
Bring the kids for a boogie. Finally, like any last little bits of practical tips or advice for mums who are trying to balance this whole business and babies madness? Any final thoughts?
Well, I just think give yourself a pat on the back because you are a mum, and that is a huge job in itself. The babies need you. So if you can be happy and content and do what you love doing in your business, and if being a business owner is what makes you a great person and a great mum, then you're a winner. I knew from the off I was never going to be able to sit still long enough to not work. I needed to work. Don't get bogged down with guilt. I've struggled with that a lot, is the guilt of, I need to be there more for my children. But actually it swings and roundabouts. Spend time with them when they ask you to play, and then go back to your emails and your admin when you can. And just everyone's unique. But I just know that being a successful businesswoman has made me a far better mother.
Yeah.
And wife and grandmother now.
Yeah.
I know. It blows my mind every time I say it.
Yeah, that's so true. And it's amazing. It's been great chatting with you. Thank you so much for your time, Cathie. And I've loved our conversation. Appreciate you taking the time to chat with us. And if anyone wants to find you online, bkdperformers.co.uk. And I look forward to hearing what's next for you guys and seeing your next level of growth. Thanks again so much. Great to chat.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.